sort of going on with these here. Fine.
Hey there guys, Templar here, and today I'll be talking to you guys about if you can actually, well, sleep in armor. Now, I can pretty much already hear you guys already, Templar, this doesn't make any sense, so why would you start talking about this? Well, this kind of came to me when I started, well, replaying Kingdom Come Deliverance. And upon replaying Kingdom Come Deliverance, I actually noticed something. Many of the soldiers, or foot soldiers, or even in the camps and such, you pretty much see a lot of guys sleeping in their armor. And I kind of wondered, was this ever true? Did people really sleep in their armor? So I decided to look it up in history, and it turns out they did. However, the type of way in which they did sleep in armor was kind of varied in history books. For example, if we take a look at, say, padded armor pretty much is like, well, this regular cloth. In other words, it's technically like a big giant jacket. So, technically it's just sleeping in a heavy jacket or a heavy coat. So, in doing so, not that much problem. It's only when you get to mail is when you get the problem. Now, as you guys can also tell in history books, mail armor was used pretty much throughout history, and as well, mail armor, even by the Roman standards, many both Roman and medieval and so on, who used armor such as this, actually stated that the armor was savvy enough, but as well also did many soldiers wanted to use it, especially if they were in enemy terrain. Now, yes, this is also a big thing, I guess you guys might understand. If someone was to, say, be in the medieval battlefield or in the Roman military or something like that, and here's the thing, they're in an enemy territory, say Julius Caesar in Gaul, or as well many pretty much the Roman soldiers in, say, the frontiers of Britannia or Germania. And here's the thing, they want to have some sleep, but here's the thing, they don't want to end up getting killed. Or as well, we could take a look at, say, the Crusaders in, well, the Holy Land, or something else. The thing is, you can't just go into enemy territory and think, oh, everything's going to go well. Here's the thing, you're going to get your ass handed to you if, say, your soldiers are pretty much unprotected by head to toe. Now, here's the thing, Gambeson can stop mostly of a thrust. Problem is, though, it's going to be kind of hard for them if they were wearing mail armor while they slept. Now, here's the thing, if you're going to wear mail armor, the thing you should actually know, guys, is you probably don't want to actually lie down on your back or on your or right on top of your chest. Mainly due to the fact if you did that, the only thing you pretty much would end up doing was the following: you could actually suffocate. And due to the weight, it could kill you. In fact, it's kind of like, say, you're sleeping with, say, I want to say like 10 pounds or maybe 20 pounds on your chest. So put that on you and let's see how long you can actually breathe before you die. In which, most of the time, what soldiers did was actually sleep on their sides. In other words, right on their, well, their arms. In doing so, this actually did work. However, sometimes this was still a problem, seeing as though on the regular terrain fields, a lot of foot soldiers and such still couldn't afford any type of good beds. So sometimes they even slept upright. Which brings me to my next discussion. What might happen if they're wearing plate armor? Well, that's actually a thing. In fact, many times over in history, many times Europeans, and including in Asia, did wear a type of armor, mainly when they're on battlefield, such as the Japanese samurai, or as well, including even Chinese soldiers who were wearing, well, full-plated armor. And in doing so, they kinda can't sleep while having plate armor on. Or, pretty much they can. Problem is, though, they can't do it while they're sitting, or should I say, lying down. It's like this. Try putting on a fully articulated plate armor of European, Japanese, or Chinese standard, and try sleeping in your bed, and let's see if you don't get pinched every 5 seconds. You see my point here. In which, another thing, you can't wear your helmet, otherwise you're gonna end up while breaking your own neck. In fact, this is actually stated in history books that a Norman general, who actually in the process was fighting against the, if I remember correctly, the Welsh, and in the process, while turning over and under every 5 seconds, it was stated that he was fully cladded in his mail and his helmet, and in doing so, he accidentally snapped his own neck because of the weight of his helmet. So, yeah. But as well, in history books, it is stated that while wearing plate armor, especially fully articulated plate armor, what you must do is the following. You must sit upright. Now, this is actually kind of hard to understand, really. But in truth, though, in Asia and most of any areas of Asia, such as China and Japan, most of the time, you hardly ever saw them actually sleep in their armor, let alone actually even fight in enemy terrain, sleep in enemy terrain without a very good, well, fortifications. So, technically, I guess I'll stay out of that part area. But now, in Europe, though, pretty much it was constantly at war with each other, so, yeah. And here's the problem. Okay, what's the problem with articulated plate? Well, here's the thing. Try sleeping in it, as I said. But here's the thing. How do you sleep in it? Well, what you gotta do is the following. You technically don't lie down. You sit up. Now, I can hear you guys already. Templar, I don't understand. How can you sleep while sitting up? Well, let's see. Technically lie down in your recliner and let's see what happens. Exactly. Or as well, just technically just lie down on a bench and next thing you know, fall asleep there. You see my point? You can actually sleep while sitting up. It depends on how tired you are. And in fact, during the medieval era, by technically up to the 1400s or including the 1500s, many soldiers that were actually manning the battlements against a siege actually were wearing their own brigandines, their plate armor, you get the point, in order to make sure to, well, fully be prepared if someone was to say, oh, climb the city walls, which technically you guys might want to actually understand this. If you're going to pretty much protect your hometown, you're going to actually need to protect it somehow. And the best way to do that is to protect it by wearing your plate armor while you sleep. Now, here's the thing though. If you were supposed to sit down, here's the thing. How are you supposed to do that if you're on an open field, I hear you? Well, the thing is, you always carry a stool with you, or you technically sit down in a type of, well, I guess you might say knees up position. And in doing so, you rest your head upon your knees, or so on. Now, it is stated, though, that many knights actually were able to wear their fully plated armor, and including in the process during the Crusades, some knights that had fully cladded mail, and including a coat of plates, actually sat down and slept this way for hours on end. And in doing so, it was actually very effective. So, how was it so effective? Well, that's the thing. We still see many, stories about them sleeping in this, and as well many decorations in churches and such, as well in many crypts. As well, even Roman legionnaires that were sleeping in Lorica Semitarta actually did sleep in their Lorica Semitarta, while Mizzo, they had to sleep sitting up. Now, this is actually the problem though in the Lorica Semitarta. It's technically fully cladded to the body. So in other words, you're gonna have to make sure that your body, technically doesn't move while you're sleeping, and especially if you're gonna sleep right next to a fire. So yeah, but now let's think about it. Like say, like you see, like say a big tall tree and such, and you're with your army. And here's the thing: you're fully cladded in plate, and you need to rest. Well, just rest near a tree, and you start to fall asleep. That's the thing. In fact, even the Norse sagas, many soldiers, such as the Vikings, actually did sleep in their armor while going raiding. They didn't just sleep in the bare butt naked, because technically that's the thing. Even in our modern day military, we can't just go into battle and sleep somewhere without our armor and equipment. It's kind of like, well, sleeping out in the nude in a public area. You get the point, right? But that's the thing, though, in which I've been trying to actually look up most of this, and unfortunately there aren't that many images that I can actually find about this, which is kind of a really big disappointment, in which I truly am sorry about that, but you get the point. But the thing is, though, this is actually probably one of my favorite things to actually talk about, seeing as though many people don't understand. This is probably one of the ways you gotta sleep in order to survive. Now I hear you guys already, but Templar, you could just take off your armor and just leave your gambeson on. Yeah, what's gonna stop the guy from technically using a rondel dagger on you? That's what I thought. It's best to wear mail or plate on you, seeing as though many soldiers actually did wear this, most of the time a cuirass or something, while they went to bed. Especially, it was even stated that Oliver Cromwell actually did wear a plate armor or a cuirass while he was sleeping. And here's the thing, if he didn't wear that plate armored cuirass, it stated that while a storm was raging outside, in which a tree branch fell on his tent, and if it wasn't for his cuirass, he would have been dead. In doing so, the King of England would have still been alive, and technically, Cromwell would have been, well, no more. You can see why this is actually probably the most interesting thing in history. But the problem is, though, if we were to take a look at more parts of history, many people in history did wear their armor while they slept in enemy territory. They can't just roam around enemy fields and think, oh, I can just sleep without my armor and I'm going to be okay. No, it's kind of like this. You technically believe that the enemy's everywhere around you. They're surrounding you, and you don't know when they're going to attack. So, what are you going to do? Well, are you just going to sleep without your armor? No, you're going to sleep with the armor. It's kind of like, say, if you were going to be a Roman legionnaire in the Teutoburg Forest and not wear your own armor. You see what I mean? And here's the thing. The Romans in the Teutoburg Forest got slaughtered. So, yeah, you can see what I mean by that. But as well, guys, if you guys want me to cover anything else up for this month, let me know down in the comments below so I can get right on to it. Anyways, guys, this has been Templar. Also, click that bell button for the notification. As well, click subscribe to actually get more videos on as soon as possible. And as well, like this video as well. It helps the channel grow as well. Anyways, guys, this has been Templar. Have a nice day.